What up, y'all? How's it going? Just finished. Good morning. Sorry, good morning. Or good afternoon. Yeah. I don't know why, but I slept for I don't know, 12 hours straight. Weird. But whatever. I just finished watching a roundtable with The Hollywood Reporter, and they had a bunch of comedy actors, like Rami from Rami. I don't know his full name, but he has a show on Netflix that I've seen advertisements for, and it's about I believe Muslim Americans. I have been interested in watching that show. I just haven't had the time. But I think I will start watching it because I just finished up with a show, and I'm trying to branch out the types of things I'm watching, so include Rami from Rami, Ricky Gervais, Dan Levi, Kenan Thompson, and Kumail Nanjiani. And it was a really, really good roundtable discussion that they talked about how comedy can be used to talk about sensitive topics or sensitive subjects, which is a lot of comedy. And they talk about how sometimes people don't really expect to run into sensitive topics, whether it's negative sensitive or positive sensitive. People don't really for the most part don't expect to run into those types of feelings when watching comedy, because when you think of comedy, especially comedy from the 2000s to the 2010s, with comedy movies and things of that sort, and even comedy series, now mainly I feel like comedy movies, it's a lot of laughs, a lot of big laughs. Big laughs is the term I think I would use to describe comedy from 2000s to 2010s. It's a lot of big laughs, and I feel like that's what people think of when they think of comedy. But I feel like comedy now, mainstream comedy now, I'm talking about mainstream comedy, sorry, and mainstream comedy now has kind of transformed into back more into satirical nature of how comedy was previously, and I think that it's really dope to see a lot of comedy challenging topics in order to create a perspective, and like I said, I think I've said this previously, comedy makes these topical things a lot more of an easier pill to swallow. And Ricky Gervais was talking about how he uses comedy to challenge taboo subjects so that they don't become taboo anymore, and I think that that's basically the best way to describe it. You touch on these things that people don't want to talk about, but it's good to talk about these things that nobody wants to talk about, because it makes them less of some sort of unreachable or taboo subject, something that you shouldn't be talking about, something that you shouldn't be thinking about, and it makes it more normalized in your train of thought, which is good, because you should be thinking about these types of things. I feel like the more you ignore major subjects, racial disparity, or cancer, or diseases, or differences in the workplace or something like that, if you don't really talk, if you don't talk about those things, I feel like it creates a sort of detachment from reality, and in your mindset. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing, because then you're just living a disillusionment of life. So comedy is a great way to bring those things that people don't want to talk about closer into real life, so then they become part of your normal way of thinking, and you can start to think more critically about them, So I think that comedy is a good tool to use for that. But I think Kumail Nanjiani said it best, where it's like you need to make sure that you talk about it in a smart way. And I think Kenan Thompson also said that. It's like you can talk about these taboo subjects, but if you're doing it just to cause a rise, if you're just doing it to like get people heated or something like that, then that's not the right motive for creating those comedies. You need to do it in a smart way to instigate people's critical thinking, and have them challenge their own thoughts, and have them challenge the way that they think, so they can think more outside of the box or outside of the regular norm. And I think Rami Malek. I think that Rami, I apologize for not knowing his full name, said it best when he was describing his own show. His show is about Muslims, and sharing a perspective on that. But he talks about how he made this show mainly to also challenge the norm of thinking of Muslims, and he talks about those subjects. Like, this is something that people don't really talk about, but how he talks about this in his show, and it's one of the themes he wanted to talk about, and how there is anti-blackness not only with just white culture, but a lot of other cultures, even colored cultures, which is very true, and people don't really talk about it because I don't know why people don't really talk about it, but maybe because it's taboo, it's like you need to create a solid front for all colored peoples. But I think that there's a reality there that you need to touch, and the fact that this is why Black Lives Matter is important, because they're being mistreated by a lot of people, not just one specific group, and I mean, in Asian culture for sure. I mean, there's a huge sense of that. I'm Asian, I've seen it throughout my life, and even in Spanish culture. I mean, I grew up with a school that was mainly Black and Hispanic, and there's a lot of disparity between Hispanics and Black people, and I think that that's also an important subject to talk about, and he uses the medium of comedy to help people understand that, which I think is really cool. Yeah, it's using comedy is a great tool to increase perspective and to challenge people's trains of thoughts, so that they can have a reflection, a true reflection in the mirror of how they view life, so then they can maybe change the way that they think, or start to make changes towards becoming more positive people, or better people. But you need to do it in a smart way. It's a lot. I'll put a link to the roundtable in the description below, but I think it's a really good roundtable discussion. And I also like the way that especially I think Kumail Nanjiani challenges Ricky Gervais a lot, and I think that it was really good to hear both of their perspectives, because I feel like they lie on very contrasting perspectives of comedy. But they still show a matter of respect, between each other. But I think that it's really cool to see the contrasting thoughts instead of just a lot of people agreeing with each other. So I think that this roundtable discussion, although it being one of the shorter ones, it's a really good one to watch. So highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the description below. Other than that, I'm gonna watch Hamilton. I'm gonna make some food and then watch Hamilton. Really excited to watch it. It just premiered today, so yeah, watch that and do some video editing. I need to do video editing, so yeah. Cool. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, peace. What up, y'all? How's it going? Yeah. Cool. I'm going to sleep now, obviously. Watch Hamilton though, and Hamilton, so good. Such a good
freaking show. The music is phenomenal. Like, honestly, I really like the music. Like, it was really good. Plus, it was like super educational. I felt like I learned a lot about Alexander Hamilton that I did not really know, as well as like Thomas Jefferson, like the American history, George Washington, like a lot of like smaller details that I didn't really know about a lot of different things. And it also brought back some memories of things that I did learn about back in like AP US history and stuff of that sort. So it was a cool thing to watch. Plus, like, very well choreographed, great story. Like, it was really good implementation of like American history, as well as like, you know, romance and love and family issues and like, yeah, a lot of different types of like issues it touched on, and it was really good. Like, yeah, it's just a lot. There's a lot of different things. It's a really good show. I highly recommend it. If you have Disney Plus, go check it out. And I definitely want to watch it at some point whenever I can, on Broadway. Really good show. Highly recommend. Yeah, other than that, pretty much just like chilled today, talked with some friends on the phone, and and then just did some personal work, and I ended up talking with friends longer than expected. Didn't end up editing the vlogs today, but yeah, I need to catch up on that. It's been 2 weeks again, so yeah, another 2 weeks. But let's get back on that. So, I mean, I've been recording these every day. I just haven't edited them. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, that's it. Cool. All right, y'all. That's about it. 4th of July is, I guess, now technically. So, happy 4th of July. And we'll see what I do tomorrow. Probably nothing because coronavirus. So, yeah. Usually every year for 4th of July, I kind of go party hopping here in LA, but yeah, that's not happening this year probably. So yeah, it is what it is. So cool. All right, talk to you guys later. Or sorry, don't talk to you guys later. I actually wanted to host a party for 4th of July this year, but that's not happening either. So, because, you know, coronavirus and stuff. But it is what it is. So, cool. Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. And good night. Peace.